I'm joined now by the international analyst and lawyer Marco Vicenzino. Marco, thanks for being here. This is huge, isn't it? FIFA's been shown the red card. It's a massive, massive issue. Tell me, just how big a deal is it?
It's huge. Probably the biggest crisis in the history of FIFA. You can compare this somewhat to what happened to the International Olympic Committee with the Salt Lake City Olympics in the late 90s, which was a huge scandal involving bribery. The U.S. Justice Department was involved in that case also. At the end of the day, what happened was that several members of the International Olympic Committee were expelled, certain were sanctioned, and a reform process began.
But does this not run deeper because of the number of countries involved?
It goes back to 1991, estimated up to $150 million in kickbacks and bribery. The Eastern District in New York is involved, which is the person who's now U.S. Attorney General started that case 3 years ago when she was District Attorney in Brooklyn in the Eastern District, and she has a very skilled team, and that district attracts some of the best talent in the U.S. legal system. If they didn't have serious charges against them, they wouldn't have gone that far in investing resources over a 3-year period.
Well, this is the point, isn't it? These aren't people that are gung-ho with their actions. They might have big maverick ideas, but they always have to back it up. They must have one heck of a case. Methodical
and very much attention to detail. From what it appears, there's already one defendant who's already had a plea bargaining with the state, who's already speaking to the attorneys. So this is once again, it's when you have something of this magnitude, individuals as this high level in the United States legal system involved, there's something serious there. Now, whether they convict or not remains to be seen. That's part of the legal process. But it's what positive thing can come out of this is the beginning of an immediate reform process within FIFA. It's long overdue.
Absolutely. Marco, there are two things that I want to ask you from a legal perspective. We know that two of the ways they have gathered their evidence, one of them is they've followed the money. Everyone always says follow the money. They've clearly done that, and it's been a real tough trail for them. The other one is we know that they have had informants that have been found out, and they've had them wearing wires, they've had them confessing all sorts of information. Legally, wearing wires, following money, how much of this will stand up in court?
Yeah, most of it, provided that they have the proper authority to have the wiring. If they have request from the courts the ability to begin a process of doing that, and they're well protected, and I think they wouldn't have gone this far unless they'd followed all the rules and the proper orders. I think most of that will be admissible in court. In the U.S., you have something called long-arm jurisdiction, which basically allows any U.S. court to have jurisdiction over any foreign national as long as there's been minimum contacts between that foreign national and the United States. It seems that some of this money, if not all of it, went through U.S. banks. And in addition to that, a lot of this planning was, even if the actual criminal acts took place overseas, much of that planning seems to have taken place in the U.S.
Certainly from the press statements earlier, it seems that that issue in particular has really aggrieved the Americans. You know, you've planned this on our soil, you've used our banks to do it. It's almost been a, how dare you?
Exactly. I mean, that's what the way that they would put it is that you're getting access to our banks. Our banks are respected worldwide, respected because it's in an international commerce. They have the credibility necessary to make international commerce prosper, not just in the U.S. but overseas. And if you're using our system for illegitimate means, for illegal means, you're going to suffer. You're going to confront the fullest consequences of the law in the U.S.
Absolutely, Marco. Fantastic stuff. Fascinating. Thank you very much for joining us.